Thanks, Anna, and thanks, Shayla, for having me here today. Hi, I'm Dustin Brakebill. I'm the Senator of College and Community Relations. And thank you for being here at this great, amazing events that Shayla and Anna have been putting on the last couple of weeks because leadership is truly a great thing, and ASDC can help you build that leadership. If you would have asked me a year ago, would I be sitting here on Zoom being a leader on our student campus? I probably would have said no. I've gotten to do great opportunities through ASDC and other stuff in our community. I've gotten to work for a state senate race in the political realm. That's helped me build up my leadership also. But it's really great being part of ASDC because you get this fabric of government and get to learn stuff like Robert's Rules of Orders and different ways of how government works, kind of, and how our campus works. And that is kind of through leadership. And Shayla and Anna give us the opportunity to do amazing stuff. If you guys did the registration with Ballot Bowl last year, if any of your professors shared that with you, I was the one that put it on. We got 705 students registered to vote. We placed fifth in this state for California community colleges. So that's a way you can do it through leadership like that. But there are 11 different positions from president to our two senator at large positions. And we also have the student trustee position. Those are all open because elections will be happening in May. I will be giving the link in the chat in a little bit about how you can apply for those elections. April 9th, though, is the deadline for the application process. So that is this Friday. Deadline, you need to submit your application by 5 p.m. And you could do that online. So I'll give you that information in a quick second. So yeah, I wanted to come today and tell you about this great opportunity to become the next student leaders of San Joaquin Delta College. And I'm glad you're here today to get more leadership and get training for that because it's something I didn't go through this leadership process, but learning ASDC definitely does help you gain leadership. And if you're already here, I think you want to be a leader in your community and hopefully here at Delta. So I'll drop the information on the chat, and I'm great to be here today. And I'll pass it back to Anna and Shayla.
Thank you, Dustin. So with that being said, make sure to submit your application if you're interested in ASDC. This Friday is the deadline, correct? Yes, so this Friday, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to your ASDC officers, to Shayla, to myself. We will answer questions. I think a huge part of the college experience is getting involved, and ASDC is a great way to get involved. Up next, we have Gloria Alcantara, and she is the program manager for GEO groups. And today she is going to be presenting on how to lead a team with different personality types. So with that being said, welcome, Gloria. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I see, oh my gosh, a lot of people have logged on now. So no, it's really an honor for me to share some of these experiences that I've had for this particular topic. And so with that said, I'll go ahead and get right into it. I would ask that, this is going to be interactive. So I believe, Shayla will be monitoring the chat. So there are some questions that I'm going to ask. And if you guys can type in your answers and make it engaging, I definitely want to hear from you on some of these items, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And you guys can hear me okay, right? Loud and clear? Okay. Here we go. Okay, so as we mentioned, how to lead a team with different personality types, right? I want to show a clip before we actually go into all of this. It's really funny, but when you watch it, you'll see and resonate with some of this, okay? So I'll start by sharing this clip. Whoops, there it is.
Good morning, everybody. What? You guys said it was Casual Friday. The worst part about working here is the fluorescent lighting. I mean, it's very unflattering on my skin tone. Everyone, I know you're very busy right now, but
Gloria, it's a little bit low. We can barely hear it.
help yourself to the brownies I left in the break room because it's a new recipe I know you just got back from vacation, but if I don't get your half of the report by the end of the day, I'm going to murder you. I work in HR, so I put out this suggestion box just to see what we could do to make this a better place to.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That's the furthest the volume can go. Is it really faint?
Yeah, it was just we couldn't hear it that loudly. But I think when you turned it up a little bit, we could hear it a tad bit better.
Okay. Let me, because I think the speaker is away from my desk here. So let me try again.
Good morning, everybody. What? You guys said it was Casual Friday. The worst part about working here is the fluorescent lighting. I mean, it's very unflattering on my skin tone. Everyone, I know you're very busy right now, but if you have a moment, please help yourself to the brownies I left in the break room because it's a new recipe. I need to know what you think. The key to being left alone at the office is to just act angry all the time. Because when you look angry, people think you're busy. Oh, I can't believe this. Really? You see? Hey, Timmy, I know you just got back from vacation, but if I don't get your half of the report by the end of the day, I'm going to murder you. I work in HR, so I put out this suggestion box just to see what we could do to make this a better place to work. So let's go through the suggestions. Okay, this person drew something I can't show on camera. Next we have Clothes-Free Friday. This person just wrote KYS. What does that even mean? Wait a second. I appreciate your input on how I can finish this project, but seeing as it's the stupidest idea I've ever heard, I'm going to stop you right there, and we're going to move on. As the IT specialist, I assist my coworkers in troubleshooting the problems with their computers, which often involves power cycling the unit, which is a fancy way of saying turning it off and on again. Occasionally, the problem is a bit more complex, such as the computer wasn't even plugged in. The copier was jammed, so I gave it a roundhouse kick. And now, while it may look damaged and be slightly smoking, it works better than ever. Some of my coworkers thought it would be funny to saran wrap my office as a practical joke, but I found it neither amusing nor practical. This is an office, okay? Not the hit TV show, The Office. We're getting drinks at Applebee's after work, and it's Carol's birthday, so I better see all of you there. It's her big 4-0. But she tells everyone she's 36, so pretend I didn't tell you that. My favorite coworkers, the ones who don't talk to me. My favorite part of the day, when I get to go home. My favorite kind of work, woodworking. Girl, it was a thirsty Thursday at the club last night. Let me tell you, it was like, hold on one second. Hello, can you hold please? Thank you. We were like, what? If I was in charge, the first thing I would do to make this job 100% better would be to get rid of the phones. Just rip them out of the wall. If people need to get in touch with customer service, they can just send us an email. The second thing I would do is get rid of email. I thought he was calling me in there to give me a raise. Turns out, he just needed help rotating a freaking PDF. Yeah, I like working here. I mean, is it my dream job? No. But is the money good? No. But do I like working with the people here? They're hit and miss. But am I making a difference in the world? Not really. But do they have a good benefits plan? Sort of. I mean, I don't have to. You're wearing a freaking polo shirt tucked in
All right.
your khakis?
Uh-oh.
That's not
Stop.
casual.
So what did you guys think about that? Did that resonate with any of you? Have you ran into anyone with those types of personalities? If you can, write in the chat here if any of this was familiar to you.
Most
Okay.
people are saying yes.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Yes,
a lot of
all the
personalities.
time.
I think there was 16 personalities captured in that 3-minute video clip. So we're definitely, we're definitely working with a lot of different people. Okay. So here in front of you is actually a couple of pictures of my team that I've worked with in the last few years. And basically, this picture is showing you that we have to have fun, right, in the field that we work in. It's just one of those things. You just always have to have fun, right? Regardless of what you do, have fun and have fun with your coworkers. But that can be kind of challenging if there's some personality clashes, right? So that's why we have the training for today. So to briefly introduce myself, as Anna said, my name is Gloria Alcantara, and I am the program manager with Geo Reentry Services located here in Stockton, California. Actually, I went to San Joaquin Delta College for a couple years, and I did my general education work there. I also took some criminal justice classes. And then after that, I transferred over to University of the Pacific. So I did not leave the city of Stockton. I don't know why. I was born and raised here, but you know, I continue my journey, right? There's something about being born and raised in a city and then wanting to get back to it, right? There's just something about that. And so that's what I did. I started my career with San Joaquin Juvenile Probation. For 3 years, I worked with at-risk youth and then transferred over to adult. So from juvenile to adult, you can imagine that there was a big shift in how we supervise those individuals. But I did that. I'm actually going on 11 years now with Geo Reentry Services. So definitely, you know, has been a great experience working with different types of people, different personalities. And yeah, it's just been a great experience overall. So why personality types? Why is it so important for us to know personality types in the workforce? And you guys can start typing some answers in the chat here. What would personality types and understanding that help us with?
Some people mention, Gloria, for better communication, makes work easier. You're able to interact better, to understand different views and how to approach things. Helps improve teamwork. It helps you relate better to others, and it helps to figure out ways to work within a team.
Absolutely. So you guys pretty much can do this presentation then. So that's basically what it is, right? So it's so important for us to understand different personality types because it's a great way for us, and some of you guys put this in here, to understand each other, right? Understand, you know, what fills your bucket. And what I mean by fills your bucket, what inspires you, what motivates you, what makes things interesting for you every day. So understanding that about someone, you know, understanding how people receive information, how others make decisions even, right? And and I think you guys mentioned this also, but how people connect with others. So it's really important that, you know, personality types helps us with understanding people, right? This next one, it says increased awareness of self and others, right? And you guys have mentioned that as well in the chat. You know, it's really important for us to understand our own personality type, you know, as well as others. You guys mentioned this one, working more effectively with your coworkers, right? So it's not, when you're working with people, it cannot be a cookie cutter approach. It's not a one size fits all. You're going to have to adapt, right? And so depending on who you're speaking with, your approach is going to differentiate. You know, people have different feelings, different values, different opinions. And so we have to really be responsive to all of those things. And knowing their personality types will help us do that. becoming more effective leaders. What is it like to lead a team of different personalities? I've done that. It was very rough in the beginning because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But as I learned over time, it's really important for me to understand everyone's personality type so that I can do conflict management or conflict resolution amongst coworkers. I can give feedback in a way that they'll receive it better. So becoming more effective leaders, definitely important. Engagement, right? Some people enjoy engagement with high energy, but some people don't like that high energy, like it sucks the life out of them. So knowing, what the personality type will help with engagement. Managing change. This one is a big one, right? Change is already so uncomfortable. So learning what your coworkers' personality types are going to help you navigate through some of the changes that might occur in the workforce or in life. So key things just to keep in mind, right? Knowing personality types is just that. You're just wanting to understand. It's the purpose of it is just knowing that there are no right or wrong results. Everyone is unique, and that is okay. It's what makes this world so great. This one was funny. Personality types is not an excuse for not doing something. So it's not a cop out, right? You can't say, oh, sorry, I'm this personality type, so I can't do that. It's just you have to learn, how to navigate that. Do your best to become aware of biases. Is there personality types that you're a little bit more biased of? And be aware of that. And that, regardless of what personality type you identify with, that you actually dibble and dabble with some of them at some degree, okay? I love this quote. It's one that's used often here at work, but seek first to understand, then to be understood. So for those of you who are typing in the chat, what does that mean to you? What does it mean?
So someone had put, look at others and look at yourself. The question, just because someone asked to repeat, is what does this phrase mean? Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Someone put taking others' feelings into consideration before your own. It means putting others' feelings first. Understanding them first will make it easier for them to understand you. Views from different perspectives. Listen twice as much as you talk.
I like that last one. So it's really, people, right? When you're interacting with people, you have to try to understand them before you try to get them to understand you. And what better way than to know what their personality is like? So definitely a quote that I always keep in mind. So there's a lot of different personality assessments, right? There's so many out there. This one that we're going to be talking about is a Carl Jung's theory, but there's color assessments if you've done them. But this is the one that we're going to be talking about today. So if you guys don't already know about Carl Jung, he was a Swiss psychiatrist whose research was deep rooted in psychoanalysis. He was greatly influenced by Sigmund Freud and even conducted research alongside him. Eventually, though Jung disagreed with many of Freud's theories. Jung is best known for his research in personality, dream analysis, and human psyche. His theories are so revered that they were made into their own school of psychotherapy. Some of you guys might be aware of the Jungian psychology or analytical psychology. So let's just take a deeper look into each of these. Extroversion versus introversion. There's a lot of misperception about these two personality types. People think that, you know, extroverts are very social and introverts are not so much. But really, there's a reason behind that. So let me ask you this. What is it like for you to be in a room full of people at a conference? What do you do? Are you the type of person that comes in and starts shaking everyone's hand and introducing yourself? Or are you the person that runs out? And you guys can type in the chat as we go. Yeah,
Some
someone.
people put, I talk to everyone. Someone put apprehensive, only talks to people I know, loves to socialize. Someone had mentioned they're more nervous. Another person mentioned they talk to everyone, but eventually, oops, chicken out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shakes everyone's hands, have a better introduce myself and smile. Nervous, but say hello.
Love it. So there's a mixture of both. It sounds like the majority of you guys are socializers, right? You guys do enjoy meeting people and introducing yourself. And then there was a few people who said, nah, maybe this is not the place for me to be at right now. How about ideal vacation? What would that look like? So if you were to take time off from work, what would you do?
Someone had mentioned nature, beach with the family, travel, ocean and mountains, beach house, hiking, rock climbing, camping, go to Hawaii, go to Vegas and gamble.
Love it. Love it. So
Road trip.
again, some of the responses even were a little bit more on the relaxation, if you could hear some of it, right? So there was more relaxation versus more interaction in some of your guys' answers. But basically, extroversion versus introversion, all it is how you get your attention and energy, right? And so for those of you who said, I think some of you guys said, you know, go to Hawaii or go camping, or, you know, those were a little bit more quieter, right? More relaxing. So those are your introversion people. Those are the ones who gather energy through those relaxation. And then people who like to go out and interact are those extroversion people, because that's how they get their energy. So for example, if someone were to, a boss of yours, for example, send you down the basement and say, here, work on this project by yourself, would you be happy or would you be upset? People might have different answers, right? And you can answer here in the chat just to engage. But, you know, I'm definitely the type that I do not mind being stuck at a basement to get work done. Now, for some people, they might think they're being punished, right? So again, the difference between these two is just attention and energy. So again, some characteristics for people that are extroversion. So these are people that prefer to talk things out. Like I said, they get energy from interacting with others. They tend to like to take more action, prefers oral communication, likes to work with people, likes group projects, often thinks out loud, enjoys socializing, and can often speak before thinking. So those are some of the characteristics of someone who is an extroversion. Now, introversion. These people think through in their head before they speak. So they're processing things a little bit longer. Draws energy from being alone. So, you know, it doesn't mean that they're antisocial. It just means they need a little bit of alone time to get their energy back. Prefers communication to be written. Often reflects prior to speaking. So kind of like the first bullet point. Can be hard to read. You know, again, if they're trying to think things through before they speak, you might not know what's going on in their head. So they are definitely hard people to read. So then the next question is, now that we know what the characteristics are for extroverts and introverts, what roles can they play at work, right? So Great for brainstorming. So people that are extroverts, put them in a group and start brainstorming, right? For projects, team projects. These are people that are going to think outside the box. They develop multiple relationships. So these are the people who don't mind going out and going into the community, building relationships. So definitely involved in that. Introverts, though, they're really good for making agendas. So if you need someone to make agendas in advance, call in your introverts. They do enjoy a quiet work setting. Communicate with them in writing when possible. So emails and that kind of thing works best for them. May need to pace themselves when working with a large group of people. So it's not that they can't work with a large group of people, they just need to pace themselves a little bit. And then provide them space to rejuvenate again. Okay, so we're going to be going into sensing versus intuition. So this is where I'm going to ask you guys to share some information here. So think about how you gather and share information. And I'll share with you guys a story actually, and then you can answer that one. So what I mean by gathering and sharing information. So let's just say, for example, you're taking a walk. Sensing people may notice physical features of a forest. So they'll notice buds, opening leaves, specific plants, sunlight on raindrops, and the path they took to get there. They're deeply immersed in the present moment, enjoying all the wonderful, wonderful things their five senses are feeding them. So those are people that are in sensing, okay? Now, same person takes the same walk, and this person that has the intuition may see one of those things, for example, a leaf, which makes them think of fall, which reminds them of hikes on their parents' farm with the family dog, which makes them wonder if they should get a dog. But how would the cats deal with that? And there are all kinds of cats in the world. And how is a lion related to a house cat? And then they wonder if they can get to Africa, which makes them think of Blood Diamonds movie. And then wonder what Leonardo DiCaprio would be like to hang out with, and on, right? You see, there's like all these different chains that occur with people who have intuition. So same walk into the woods, but very completely different journeys. So after reading that, if you guys put in the chat, are you a sensing person or are you a intuition person?
Excuse me?
Yes.
Sorry, I actually missed the first part because I had logged off of my phone and logged back on my computer. Can you repeat that again?
The question?
No, about the sensing versus intuition.
Yeah, so I shared a story. Basically, sensing people, when I'm going to use the example of the forest again. When they walk through a forest, for example, they're the types of people that really utilize all of their five senses, right? Smell, taste, vision, all of that, and they take that all in. When someone who has intuition, though, they will look at an item and it'll remind them of something, and then that thing will remind them of something else.
Oh,
and
like stream of consciousness.
Yeah, so it's like a ripple effect almost, just from one thing that they saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So I see some people are both, some are intuitive, some are sensing. Some depends on the day. I like that one. So now that we know the definition between sensing and intuition, here are some characteristics, right, to look for when people are in either one of these. So for sensing, those people are very detailed focused. So just like I shared in the story, they were really looking at all different senses, right? Smell, taste, hearing, they're very detailed oriented. They like facts and figures, right? So not things that are made of dreams. They want to see things. Sensing people are also in the present moment. They enjoy precision and predictability. They are also reality-based, and they trust practical experience. So again, it's one of those things where they have to see it to believe it, right? And they can be very literal, right? So if you ever say anything or you're having a conversation, those are the people who point out literal things that you've said and then try to repeat it back to you, even if it's not what you meant, right? But they're very literal. Intuition. So these people are big picture focused. They see a larger scope of things. They're not just seeing things from blinders. They do like to connect the dots, and I kind of shared with you guys what that looked like for someone who, just saw a leaf, right? It reminded them of all these different things. The intuition people look into the future, right? Versus the sensing people who are in the present. Intuition looks at opportunities. They're very creative and imaginative, right? They can, again, it goes back to the thinking outside the box. Intuition people, you hear about it all the time. They go with their gut. And, that's very tough for people who are in the sensing because they need facts, they need figures, they need to make decisions based on, everything that's in front of them. But intuition people, they don't need to know all that stuff. They don't need to know the details. They'll just go with their gut. Intuition people are also figurative. So what do you do with these people at work? Sensing people are great with data. So if you're ever at a point where you're not good with data, find someone who has that sensing personality and they can run with that and do it for you. They like detailed reports. So again, there's a report out there that you do not want to do, delegate it to someone who likes and enjoys doing reports. Strong with follow through. These are also people who you don't have to hold their hand. These people typically will close the loop on their own. Okay, so they'll follow through. They like to get things done and make sure it's done. When possible, allow them time and give them all the facts in order to make a decision. So sometimes you'll ask them a question and a person that has a sensing personality will say, let me get back to you on that one. And it's because they want to really think about all the things that are going on before they give a decision. Sensing people also have a hard time, though, brainstorming ideas that are not concrete because they can't see past the smaller picture. They need something kind of upfront, closer. Intuition people. So these people are good with project development. These are your out-of-the-box thinkers. So if you need anyone to be more creative than you are, these are the great people of intuition. Able to assist with developing new systems and ideas. So again, that out-of-the-box thinking. So if you've been doing the same process over and over and over again, and it's just not working, turn to your intuition people to get new ideas. These people are also comfortable with taking risks, right? They're not really thinking things through. They're go-getters. They'll just get it done. They'll go with their gut, right? So if you need someone that is more comfortable with taking those risks, those are your intuition people. Okay. So thinking versus feeling. What are some ways that you what are some decision making? Like what is involved in that? When you make a decision, what do you consider? And you guys can type that in the chat. What does your decision making look like? I see, it depends on the situation, finding out who's involved. Pros and cons. Some
Say,
processes.
mhm.
Oh, were you going to go ahead, Sheila?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the overall impact and reason for action, consequences, everything and everyone involved.
Listening to pros and cons, how it's going to affect everyone.
Consider, I like this one, consider all options and pray. Yeah. Okay, good. So some people, right, will look at different things before making decision. And then I saw someone say, I look at who is involved before making a decision. So let's go into that a little bit more, right? So what is the difference between thinking and feeling? I know it sounds pretty straightforward, but thinking people, right, are very objective, firm. They, they speak to logic, policy driven. They analyze things and critique a lot, and they ask why. Why are we doing this? Why, right? And it's not why in that they're challenging anything. It's why because they need to understand and process that, right? Thinking people also believe in justice. Feeling people are more subjective. They're very persuasive. Good impact on people. Circumstantial. They are strong with empathy and appreciation. They do ask the who. So some of you guys put who is involved when making decisions. And then they also believe in mercy. Okay. So again, these are the characteristics of people with thinking and feeling. So again, in the chat, while I'm going into the next slides, you guys can go ahead and put in there whether or not you're thinking or feeling. Okay. So what do we do with people that are thinking or feeling at work? So thinking people are really good with quality assurance and making sure things are being done correctly. They're good at completing a task or could be a team leader to complete a task. So again, those are the follow through people. These people can make tough decisions that will benefit the agency. Embodies a fair, firm, and consistent. So for feeling, these people are good with conflict resolution. So if you have, if you don't want to deal with people, go to someone who has a feeling personality. These people are also good at building staff morale. Keep in mind too, they can also lower staff morale. So these people, their emotions are very contagious. So I would say definitely be aware of that if you're a feeling person. Strong with building team building exercises. Checks in with how people are doing. It's funny when I put this down because I'm definitely not a feeling person. So I sometimes will forget to even say good morning before I ask someone to do something. My coworkers will probably agree, but feeling people will not forget to say good morning first before they start asking questions or, getting to business. So definitely people who check in first. So let's see, judging and perceiving, I believe this is the last set. Okay. So you have a project due in 10 days. What do you do? Are you the person that waits to the last minute? Or are you the person that wants to get it done ahead of time? Go ahead and write it in the chat.
Looks like you got a mix of folks.
Yeah. It's a mix. Nope, someone said both. Wow, okay. depends. Okay. The mood, yeah, that definitely can change things, right? It depends on what mood you're in. So there's a mixture of both, right? And again, it's not right or wrong. At the end of the day, it's did the task get done, right? Whether it was last minute or ahead of time, did you make the deadline, right? There's no right or wrong. So people with judging, right? Those people are going to get things done ahead of time. They do need timelines. So your judging people will come to you and ask you for a deadline, right? Or, yeah, so they'll typically will ask you. So if you don't give them a deadline, they'll definitely ask you for one. These are people who plan ahead. They do not do well under pressure, right? They want to get things done ahead of time. They want that peace of mind that, okay, I'm done. I can scratch that off my list. Judging people have a schedule and they definitely stick to it. They really have a hard time adapting or being flexible to interruptions, for example. Very punctual. So these are the people that will show up 15 minutes early, and they'll even tell you 15 minutes early is on time is late. Those are your judging people, right? They're very punctual. These are people that have control issues. So they need to control events. They need to control, let's see, webinars or trainings or just the flow of things. They have to have some type of control. And they also need to close the loop. So it will bother them if they leave the office without finishing what they started. People that are perceiving, on the other hand, are open-minded. These are people that adapt as they go. So very flexible. They don't need to follow a schedule. They kind of just will go with the flow, right? These people are very spontaneous. So think of people or family members, friends who say, let's go on a trip tomorrow, right? Very spontaneous people. Leisurely, right? These are people that enjoy leisure. They respond to the moment and they like to keep their options open. So then what are some tools, right, for people that are in judging and perceiving? And as I'm going through these, feel free to write down whether you're judging or perceiving in the chat. If possible, provide them with a list of things to do. So these are people that enjoy lists, right? If you give them a list to do, they're the type that likes to check things off, right? Those are judging people. Understand that they like to get things done well in advance. So if you give them a deadline, you'll expect them to get it done a week early. Be aware that they may focus so much on the goal that they miss new information. That's really crucial. People who are very, again, it's not that they're closed-minded, they're just so focused, right? Their focus is so sharp that they'll miss things that are coming in, new information. But there are definitely good people for projects with tight deadlines. So if you had a deadline that was coming around the corner, you needed to delegate that item to somebody, this is your person. And they're good at holding others accountable. So if you need an accountable buddy, get yourself a judging person. Perceiving. So people in perceiving understand that they like to be loose and casual, but can still get things done, okay? So, I typically will get nervous about some people who are perceiving because, again, I'm the people that need to be in control. I'm one of those people. But if you just allow them the freedom to get their work done and trust that they'll get it done, it'll happen. They can be stimulated, energized by approaching a deadline. So again, I had mentioned before, these people enjoy working under pressure. They find challenge and energy with that. They can miss making a decision since they're open to new information. So these guys will typically delay decision making won't stress with a change in direction. So again, that people who adapt well, a little bit better than judging. So now that you know some of these personality types, the differences between, extroversion, introversion, all of that stuff. How might you now use this information to develop a high performing team in your work? And you can put that in the chat. I like that. So some of you guys are saying knowing personality to be able to delegate tasks. Absolutely. Knowing your people can really help with that. Oh, can use traits to assign people to roles they fit best in. Now, it looks like you guys are really hitting the nail on the delegation part. That as a leader, it's so important to be comfortable with delegating. Now, who you delegate to is going to be very important based on what you've learned today. You see that you cannot delegate a type project item to someone who is, what was the last one? Proceeding, right? Don't give that project to someone with that personality type, because they will take their time. Yeah, so maximizing strengths, I like that. So maximizing the strengths of the personality types. I like that. And a lot of you guys are saying delegating. I really like that. So, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of different personality assessments out there. I remember when I actually took some personality assessments early in my career, I would take it and then kind of do nothing with it. I was just like, oh, cool, that's good to know about me. I didn't realize until I got, this role, program manager, I didn't realize how effective it was going to help me in leading a team. And delegating is just one part of it. It's really learning how to approach different personality types, how to give feedback. Again, I mentioned conflict resolution when maybe coworkers are not getting along, because that can happen. How do you help them find some resolution around that? And really, I think you guys said this too, maximizing the strengths and think about even employee retention as a leader. That's really important. If you maximize the strengths of your employees, it's going to help you as a leader. Research shows that the return on investment on personality type training and coaching is typically very high when the information is embraced and put into practice daily. So use this, right? One-on-one meetings, conflict resolution, team building exercises, understanding and embracing our differences, maximizing staff's performance, and aligning tasks and people. So everything that you guys pretty much mentioned in the chat. So people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Again, another favorite quote of mine, if you don't care to understand them, and that was one of the first quotes, right? If you don't care to understand who they are as a person, you don't care about them, then they really won't care how much you know. You might be the most knowledgeable person, the most knowledgeable leader in your office, but it won't be until they know how much you care about them, care about their strengths, care about their personality, care about what fills their bucket, what helps them thrive. Then what you know won't matter, right, as a leader. So without further ado, I want to thank you all for allowing me to be a part of this leadership workshop. I know that there were some questions that I believe Anna or Shayla were writing down for me to answer, but I can take that now. Then my email and my phone number here to the office is also listed, so feel free to email me or call me as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm just taking a moment to review. We had so much inner engagement. I was just trying to keep track of it all. So thank you again. And those of you who would like to ask a question to Gloria, now is the time to put it in the chat so I can copy and paste it and make sure it gets asked while we're in this space. So do you want to stop sharing really fast?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you can put your questions in the chat, folks, that would be great.
One question that was sent to me, that I see is, how do you deal with people that don't get along but work well together?
So I'm imagining that question would be like, maybe don't get along on a personal level, but putting them together, they can probably accomplish a lot, correct? I think that's how I'm interpreting that question. So if that's the right interpretation, basically, I'll meet with each one individually. And I've done this before where I paired two people up who probably don't really care for one another, for lack of a better word, but you know, putting them together and completing a task will be of benefit to, you know, the bigger goal, right? And for us, it's really the services that we offer to our participants. So it's meeting with them individually and prepping them, right? Hey, you're going to be working with so and so because the overall objective is, you know, providing this great service for our participants, right? Your strength and their strength is really going to help accomplish this. And so, you know, whatever you need from me to help you support you both as you complete this project, you know, let me know. So I would definitely meet with them individually to kind of prep them, right? And help them understand that this is what they're doing is far beyond their own personal, I guess, what do you call it? Differences. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions? Okay.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to keep asking. Okay. One of the questions that I saw was, can I see again the slice with the sensing and intuition in the workplace? I guess you want to see the slide with the sensing and intuition in the workplace.
Yeah. So that one, really, sensing and intuition, remember that one is just how you gather information. So, I mean, it was pretty simple. You know, this person, in fact, there wasn't much on that slide, but remember, these are the people who are intuition will look at one item, remember something from that item, then we'll remember something from that, and it becomes this continuous ripple effect, right? They can go completely off track, right? And people who are in perception, right? Perceiving people, they look at things at face value, right? They'll look at things as they are, and they'll just enjoy the moment, right? So those are your perception people. So hope that helps a little bit. That slide only had like one question, and it was how to gather information. What else?
How to encourage a team as a whole with all different personality types?
How to you said, I'm sorry, the last part?
How to encourage a team as a whole with all different personality types?
Yeah. So I think when you do this, so I definitely would encourage for you to have your team do this personality assessment and share the results with each other and even do a training around it. That way it creates this understanding of we're all different, right? We're all different, but we're trying to achieve one goal. And how can we use each other's differences and our strengths to kind of think of it as puzzle pieces, right? We're all different puzzle pieces. So how can we work together to make this puzzle piece whole? So we're all different. And I think, using those types of analogies and doing this assessment within your office or where you work and then sharing those results will help everyone understand those differences and and work on the goal together. Yeah. Good question.
Thank you. Shayla, did you pick up any other questions?
It looks like some people wanted the slides. So Anna, do you want me to forward you the PowerPoint?
Yes. So
Okay.
we will be doing we will upload all the workshop series videos at the end onto our website so that you guys can go back and watch the videos. And if I have PowerPoints from presenters, they will also be on there.
Okay.
So that way you guys can download them directly.
Awesome. Yeah. So I can send that and you guys will have that.
Thank
There was
you.
a question I did catch. Let me see.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody had asked about the personality types if employers consider that during hiring.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the same one I was looking at. So do employers consider personality types while hiring new people? They can, right? Depending on who they have on their team. So for example, me, I try to hire people who are not like me, right? So if you're like me, I'm sorry, there can only be one of me here. and it's not a bad thing, right? It's just you want a diverse group of people. You can't have everyone in your office thinking the same way. You're not going to accomplish a lot. And so definitely that's something that we do consider. Now, does it you know, prevent you or disqualify you altogether? No, no. I do think about it sometimes, but hey, if you're a good candidate, you have the background, the experience, you did well in the interview, you're still hireable. It's just one of those factors that there's some employers that may consider it depending on the dynamics of the team that's currently existing. So that's a good question. How do you approach asking about personality types? So that one definitely, if you turn it into a training like this, or make it fun, think of it as a team building activity. And then, if you approach it that way, you're able to identify people's personality types. That's what we've done here at the office, where we did it as a training. And I was able to learn everyone's different personality types, and it's made it easier for me to navigate and to help delegate and to communicate with each person. So definitely, something to do is, I would say, a team building exercise or turn it into a training like this.
Another question I see that somebody had asked was, how do you work with younger employees? If you're an older person, this individual is saying that's an issue for them.
Okay, so there's generational gaps, right? Now, again, that's why personality types are so, to me at least, it's easier to work with, because someone who is, I have that here at the office. I have a much older gentleman and a younger person, but they have the same personality type, right? So it doesn't matter the generational gaps. Obviously there's some wisdom and experience, right, that maybe the younger folks might experience, but definitely tap into the personality types, because it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter male, female. The personality type is really good. It's going to help you communicate better with each person. So definitely remove that thought of age, gender, whatever, and really hone in on the personality type of that individual, it's going to help you. It's going to help you a lot. You know, it's really going to help you lead, you know, these people of, you know, different ages and race and all of that. So hope that helps. That's why I think that's why this topic is so important, is because sometimes we get fearful as a leader, like, oh, this person is older than me or this person is younger than me. At the end of the day, it really does not matter. They want to be treated the same. The older person wants to be treated like the younger person. The younger person wants to be treated like the older person. So it's really just learning the personality type and being responsive to that.
And I think more employers should invest in doing some type of personality assessment with their teams to know how to better address different issues that may arise. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Can an introverted person be a leader?
Yes, I am 100% introverted, people. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm very introverted, people. Like by the time I get home today, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna rejuvenate. I'm gonna go into bed, go into the covers, and that's how I'm going to get my energy back, because this is a lot of energy for me. But you know, again, it's not to say that you can't do this. Look at me, I'm doing this, right? And I'm an introvert. So introverted people definitely can do something like this. It's stepping out of your comfort zone, yes. But the more practice and repetition you get, the easier it's going to get. But definitely you're gonna need some time to rejuvenate. So I'm actually glad that this is the last presentation that I have today, so I can go home and just relax.
Yeah, I totally hear you. I think the misconception is just because have that energy right now doesn't mean you have to go home and replenish. Right?
Yep.
I'm the same way. People were like, "Oh, you're so energetic," and I'm like, "But I need to go home and replenish." So
I need my quiet time.
Yeah, you need your quiet time. Exactly. Another question I see in the chat is, if you have diverse people, how can you, I guess, unify them to get to one goal if you're working with diverse group of people?
Yeah.
How can you unify them to get them to the same goal?
Yeah, and you know, okay, so the delegation piece, you guys have mentioned that a lot, right? So when you're creating a goal for the office, there's different parts, right, to achieving that goal. So I think the biggest thing as a leader is knowing what those parts are. And now that you know the personality types of your coworkers, that you're delegating that appropriately, right? You're putting people who like to work together. You're putting people who want to work by themselves. And at the end of the day, they're going to reach this goal. So definitely that delegation piece that I saw over and over again in the chat is really going to help different personalities reach one goal.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess another person kind of might tie into the question I asked you is, does a person's cultural background affect their personality type?
It can, right? Different. Um, the way that our personality is created is through experiences, right? Experiences shape our personality. And so does it mean it's you? No, it doesn't define you. But, you know, definitely if you've had different cultural experiences to someone else, it's going to shape that personality type. Okay. So yes, it's gonna, you know, it really depends. But it really comes down to what their experiences were growing up, and with every situation that they faced. The question always comes down to what was their experience like, and that experience usually usually molded that person's personality.
Experiences are so impactful when we grow up, and that's affects how we see the world. And somebody had asked, can personalities change over time?
Mm-hmm. It sure can. You know, personality is one that is changeable. And in fact, if you think about, you know, I work in the criminal justice field, right? So we're all about behavior change, right? And behaviors are part of that. right? So if I'm changing someone's behavior, or if I'm changing my own behavior, naturally some of my personality traits may change along with it. Now, people kind of always, I guess, thought of personalities as that's who you are, that's it, you can't change it. And I've learned over the years that that's just not true. I used to be one way and now I'm something different because, again, what are you experiencing? Everyone has different seasons. And so you're going to change with the season, and how your personality is going to come across in that season. It's going to change. Yeah.
Sometimes it's for the good, sometimes it could be not for the good, but it's always ever evolving, right?
Yeah, and in the beginning, I even mentioned, like, I think I said that we have a little bit of all of it, right?
Mhm.
So that's what I mean. It's like I can be extroverted and all perceiving and all of this thing one season, and the next season someone talked about mood. Maybe you're just not in the mood to be all of that. So it's going to change. It's really situational. It's all based on experience, but it's really it's. I think when it comes to personality types and understanding your team, there's a basic, right? You typically, people have a basic personality and then will often drift in between, right?
Right.
So knowing what their basic is and knowing that it can change depending on the season, I think is important as a leader.
Absolutely. Um, Someone else had asked, they want to know, how should a leader cope with failing or losing over something? So how
Yeah.
would a leader cope with that?
So I see that. So how should a leader cope with failing or losing over something? So I think it's just understanding that failure is okay.
Mhm.
And losses are okay. Losing doesn't always mean that you're losing. Anytime you lose something, you're gaining something, right? When you lose something, you gain something. So, I think it's all in the mindset and what you think about what this failing looks like. When I think of failing, I'm like, awesome, I'm growing, right? I'm moving forward in my life. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. That is a sign. If I fail, hey, that's okay. And then losing is another thing. When you're losing something, there's usually a door of opportunity that's opening up. There's a reason for losing, there's a reason for failing, right? Kind of look into what are the, and I know I'm sounding a little bit optimistic, but it's really looking at the positive of all of these challenges, right? What are the positives of failing? What are the positives of losing? And focusing on that as a leader will help you cope.
I love that, because we all want to grow, and though sometimes the only way we can grow is in those moments where we don't win. So I think I'm glad that you said that. Another question that was asked in the chat was, what are the effects of different personalities on decision making?
Yeah. So some of the effects that could occur, there's pros and cons, right? So what I've seen is definitely disagreements and decisions, right? So people of different personalities are gonna have different decisions, and they're not gonna be the same. So I think what happens is, now can we meet in the middle? And typically it's great to be on opposite ends, because when you find that nice middle, it really there's something that happens to the team, right? It's just this thing where you're like, oh gosh, we were able to do something even greater than what we decided on, than what I decided on, right? I combined what she decided on, and I combined what I decided on, and we put it together, and it was much better than it being done individually.
That's a beautiful thing, when it can all fit together like a puzzle piece,
Yeah.
and you
It's
can
much
reach your goal.
Yeah.
Someone else had asked, how do you move first when fear grips you? These are some good questions. I'm kind of thinking like, oh, I would have a, yeah. So Yeah, that was the question in the chat. You guys are putting out some great questions. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a perfect example of what happened today. So, was I fearful of this presentation? Absolutely, right? But we get so wrapped up in our head of how things are gonna, fail before it even happens, right? We think about all the things that could go wrong. I'm like, oh my God, what if the internet goes down? Oh my gosh, I need to, can I see people? How am I going to be able to focus on my presentation while looking at the chat? And all this stuff is happening, it's creating fear. So fear is usually when you're thinking about something ahead that has not yet happened, right? And you're allowing that to, like it says, to cripple you, right? To stop you from moving forward. So I would say definitely remove all the things that has not happened yet and go for it. There was this one rule I think that has always helped for me. I always go 1, 2, go. Right? 1, 2, go. Because it gives me less time to think about all the things that could go wrong.
Right.
So it's just 1, 2, go. I came into this meeting, 1, 2, go, Zoom. I was like, God, just do it, just log on, right? So, but yes, definitely had a fear coming into this. It's because I was thinking about all the things that could go wrong, and look, nothing happened, right? So yeah, definitely do not let fear stop you because you just don't know what you're capable of unless you jump in.
Yeah, I remember a long time ago, one of my mentors had shared with me an acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. And so ever since I heard that, I'm always like, okay, if this is false evidence appearing real, then I need to make sure that it doesn't stifle me from moving forward and taking that first step, like you're saying. So thank you for sharing that. Part of the hardest step is just that 1, 2, and then going. That could be the hardest step. So absolutely. Let's see, it looks like someone asked, can you share what your most recent personality result was?
I can. I actually wrote it down just in case someone would ask. So my most recent, so this is, I'm introverted, sensing, thinking, and judging. So I'm very, I guess, when it comes to work, I'm very rigid. I'm very, I zone into work. I want to make sure that I meet all my deadlines. I stick to my schedule. I don't like going off of it. Um, Now, do I let that personality type affect how I interact with other people? No, because again, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of me being that way. So I try not to let that personality type, I guess, what do you call it? um, like turn other people off, right? I still try to make myself approachable because if you have this ISTJ, people look at you as unapproachable. Okay.
I guess we're the same. I got
Yeah.
the too. But I don't think you're gonna hire me then because we probably think
No, that's not true. I do consider it, but sometimes I do want someone in here that can, that can be organized and, has a schedule that they follow and meet their deadline. So, but yeah, so just be aware that ISTJs are known to be unapproachable. So you got to be aware of that. And what are you going to do to change that so you can interact with your coworkers and help them be successful as
yeah,
their
people
leader?
have definitely thought of me as like distant and aloof, and probably some people thought I was rude just because I don't, you know, acknowledge them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That is very true. So again, something that I didn't realize when I first got promoted, and yeah, people thought I was rude. That I didn't acknowledge their feelings. I'm not usually this personality type does not. They're very uncomfortable when it comes to feelings because they want facts. They want to stick to something that's more right in front of them in the present, right? So yeah, so it's good that you're aware of that. Now it's like how do you switch that off towards people who might perceive you as disrespectful and rude, because that's probably not what you're trying to do, right? It's just, we have a different agenda.
I appreciate you saying too that, because you're aware of it, you're mindful enough to try to take different approaches so people can come talk to you. And, I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying you're actively aware of it, and you do steps to make sure that, people don't perceive you in a certain way, and you are approachable, and,
Yeah.
you do that.
One thing I've done, so for some of you guys who might have this personality type, again, there's more effort to checking in, for example, because we want to get things done. We're going into work, get your deadlines done and all of that. Definitely check in with each of your coworkers as you're walking into your office and as you're leaving. They really do appreciate even those little check-ins in the beginning of the day and then at the end of the day. So
Little tad bits make a difference, huh? We're getting towards the end. So one of the second to the last questions that I see in the chat is, how does it work for your boss when your boss is much younger than you?
So I am am I the second youngest in this office of 8? So I have about 6 coworkers who are older than me, and I supervise them, right? So again, it's that age factor, is removing that age factor. And the most important thing is relationship building, right? This is a big tip. So regardless of, again, all these age and gender factors, all of that kind of come into play a lot and kind of maybe intimidate leaders. What I've learned is build relationships first. Get to know that person first. You'd be surprised, there's some things that you're going to have in common with that person. And so I would definitely say build relationships first, because that's going to go a long way, right? And then while you're building those relationships, you're learning their personality types. So you're using their strengths, right, with assignments that you're giving them. You're interacting with them differently. You're approaching them from a different perspective, because and you're aware of, again, not only your personality type, but theirs as well. So I would definitely challenge you guys to try to remove the age factor, because again, that's very tricky. You don't want to unintentionally discriminate, right, in the workforce. That you get that out of your head, right? So it's not about the age. And building relationships, you're going to build respect. You're going to build trust. Again, it's like that one quote that I gave you guys, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If they know that you care about them as a human being, you're going to be able to lead them.
That was beautiful. And I think that's a good way to wrap it up, right? Because that at the end of the day, as a leader, you have to care. You have to care about the people you lead, and people can see right through it if you don't. So I appreciate you sharing that part, the relationship building part, which has been consistent in all of our workshops. So I appreciate you emphasizing that point as well. So we had a question in chat about the Myers-Briggs tests and where folks can take it. It looks like somebody had popped the test you can take if you're interested in taking a personality test. And then also, just so you all are aware, the Career Center that we have on our campus, the Career Transfer Center, you can also take free assessments, and also through our guidance classes as well. So if you're interested in that, that might be something to participate in. But on that note, is there any final thoughts or nuggets you would like to share with us before transition back to Miss Anna here?
Yeah, no, just thank you for the opportunity. Professor Terry is actually the one who introduced me to this idea. So thank you for thinking of me when this workshop started to come up again. You guys had mentioned this was done in person at one point pre-COVID. And so I'm actually glad that I did this virtually. Remember, I'm introverted. So I probably would not have, I would have said, Professor Terry, no, not, I'm sorry, find someone else. But yeah, no, thank you. It's been an honor sharing some of these experiences and answering your questions. Hopefully that added value to your day today. But basically that's all I want to do. You know, if it added value to you, great. If you got one nugget, awesome. That's basically my goal today.
Thank you, Gloria. Yay, round of applause. Thank you, Miss Gloria.
Thank you.
Hopefully, once we're back in person, we can also have you on campus. I'm sure I personally took many nuggets from this, and I'm sure our students did as well. So I want to thank you so much. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, or like Shayla was saying, the chat was just, whew, he was on a roll with comments and interactions. So thank you so much. Also, just as a friendly reminder, for all our students, next week we will be having our fifth leadership workshop. So same time, be here, check your emails, make sure so that you guys can get that link for the next one. If you guys have any questions, please send us an email. And also don't forget about ASDC. The application closes this Friday. That is just a great way to start your leadership career, or get, you know, put a foot into your leadership experiences by getting involved with ASDC. And if, like we said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Shayla, to myself, to any of the ASDC officers. It's such a great opportunity. So please reach out if you have questions. With that being said, Miss Gloria, thank you so much. And for myself and from the Delta family, we would love to have you back.
Thank you. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Have the rest of your Tuesday evening.
We'll see you next week.
Yes, we will see you next week. Professor Terry, thank you for being here.
Thanks for bringing your students.
I know, showing off those
Yeah,
dance
give them
moves.
extra credit. They showed up.
Mhm.
Showed up, showed out.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing with your students. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good rest of your Tuesday.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.